Hi, today I'd like to discuss a few tests I did with the Canon C200 mounted on a Ronin M, and with this setup mounted on an Easyrig with a Serene arm. So the reason why you might want to use a Ronin M is that you can get extra stability for your shots. Of course, it's always good to have an image stabilized lens. The Ronin M setup plus the 200 can easily weigh 4 kilos. This means that depending on how strong you are, after 1 or 2 minutes you can really get tired, so you will stop thinking about the shots, you will start thinking about how heavy the system is. So having this Easyrig, it's a very good solution to transfer the weight of this setup into your body, so from your arms to your body.